Any teacher?
Okay, sir, start here.
Change.
Good evening to all. On behalf of Marbesiris College of Education, Sultan Bathery, it gives me immense pleasure to extend a warm and cordial welcome to each one of you in today's webinar, organized by our Internal Quality Assurance Cell in collaboration with Association of International Researchers of Indian Origin and Council for Teacher Education Foundation, Kerala chapter. We are truly honored to have with us an eminent resource person, Mr. Atul Maurya, research scholar in the Department of Educational Studies, Jamia Millia Islamia University, New Delhi. Sir will be guiding us on the very thought-provoking and socially relevant theme, understanding the role of education in society, a sociological perspective. We eagerly look forward to Sir insights which will deepen our understanding of education as a transformative social force. I take this opportunity to extend a heartfelt welcome to our distinguished guest, Dr. M.S. Geeta, Chairman, Council for Teacher Education Foundation, Kerala Chapter, and Professor Dr. Rajeshwari K. President, Association of International Researchers of Indian Origin, whose constant support and encouragement strengthen academic initiatives like this. A warm word of welcome also goes to our General Convener, Dr. Sunkumar Jian, Principal of Marbesilis College of Education, whose vision and guidance inspire all our academic endeavors. I also warmly welcome our student convener, Ms. Fatima Ramisa K, for her enthusiastic leadership, and above all, I extend my sincere greetings to all participants, faculties, students, and well-wishers whose presence adds great value to this program. Let this webinar be an enlightening academic experience, broadening our perspectives on the sociological role of education in shaping individuals and society. Once again, I extend a warm welcome to one and all. Thank you.
Shall we start, sir?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you for warm welcome. And thank you very much. I would like to begin by expressing me the opportunity to be a truly an honor to share my thoughts and perspectives with such a learned and engaged audiences. I'm thankful to all the participants for joining today and contributing to this collective learning experience. And I hope the session proves valuable and that we can exchange ideas that will enhance our understanding and practice. So let me share my PPT.
Yes.
Sir, is it visible?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Okay, thanks.
So let's come about today's topic introduction. Today, we are going to explore a subject that is deeply embedded our everyday lives, that is education. And we often think of education as something that happens in only a school or college's classroom, where students learn mathematics, science, and language arts, etc. However, education is much more than that. right? From the time we are born and we begin to learn about the world around us and how to speak, what is acceptable behavior, and what our roles in society are. Actually, learning starts during before after we born. Okay, and these lessons does not come only from books and but also from family, peers, and social institutions, and even media also. Right. The sociology help us understand these interactions and structures. Okay. Through this lecture, you will understand how education functions and as a key institutions that shape social relationships and strengthens a cultural identity and even reproduce social inequalities also. This is a very important point here that education reproduces social inequalities. So, as a future educator, it is essential that you reflect and how education influence students' lives and how you, as teacher, can actively participate in making education inclusive, fair, and empowering. Okay. So, moving to next slides. Education as a social instruction institution. So, before coming to this topic, education as a social institution, my question is, what is society? First, we understand about society. Okay. So, anyone from you, uh, although a definition are displaying, but I also know about your opinions. What is society for participants?
Society is the atmosphere
Anyone?
where a person lives. It includes some peoples.
Sorry.
It is the overall
Okay.
atmosphere
Where we
where a
interact.
person
Okay.
lives.
Right.
Yeah.
So let's come according to Aristotle. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. According to Aristotle, society is a natural entity. We all are know about their of popular quotes that political animals, humans are political animals, are social animals. We also often listen, but who require communal living to achieve the goal. Actually, as Aristotle believed that people cannot live alone. We need others because we depend on them for help. Okay, for friendship, for sharing responsibilities. That's why society is natural. That is, it's something that forms when people comes together. Society forms when people comes together. Okay. He also said that people are political animal and meaning that's in it's our nature to work with others to create rules and live together better. Right. For example, a family, a village, or a community comes together to share food and after children and solve problems because no one can do everything by themselves. Right. So a very prominent a sociological thinker, Talcott Parson, also states define a society as a system composed of interdependent parts that work together through shared norms and values to maintain stability and accomplish common goals. So this is definition given by Talcott Parson, 1951. So you notice that there are two terms come here that society are independent parts. It's composed of independent parts. Society likes a biological organ, like our body is a biological organ, and there are subsystems like kidney and hearts and eyes, nose. There are sub parts of our body, right? And these sub parts are work together for body, but these sub parts are also have their own function, right? Similarly, societies also have subsystems like families, marriage, caste, class. These are the subsystem of society. Okay. uh, for example, in a school, teacher, students, or parents all have roles. These schools, teachers, students, and parents, everything have their defines roles. Actually, these roles are not defined in any written forms, but we learn through our norms and values. Okay, can anyone differentiate between values, norms, or and rules? I request to all participants, please give uh, your feedback during session. It will make this session very engageful. So can anyone differentiate between values, norms, and rules, or any between two values and norms? Okay, let's see. Values
Hello,
are
hello,
deeply
sir.
held beliefs.
Uh,
Yeah, yeah. Uh,
Hello.
yes, yes,
As
yes,
I
please.
know that values are come from the our values are come from our deepest think about how society run, and norms
Yes,
are the
yes.
norms are the rules and procedure that we have follow.
Okay. You tried very correctly. Let's see. Values are deeply held beliefs about what is right, important, or desirable. Right? That our internal sense of right and wrong. We are internal. We have an internal sense about right and what is wrong. That are values like honesty and respect. We are internally knows what is how to respect everyone, anyone. That's our values. Okay, but norms are social expectations or guidelines for behavior. These are actually social pressure on ourselves, that how to behave in society, like that are norms. Okay, and values or norms both are unwritten, but rules are written law. Right? We all have a constitution, and there are rules, and rules are not only for constitution. These are maybe for institutions and more, or for uh, a particular industry, for particular agency. Everyone's have their own structured rule and written rules, but values and norms are unwritten, and values are deeply held beliefs. Okay, and norms are reflected from social expectations and guidelines. Right? uh, let's come about what is social institution, which is our main slide. Social institution is a structured system that fulfills basic societal needs, like family, religion, and economy and government, etc. are some examples. And education is also a social institution, plays a pivotal role in sustaining a social order and preparing individuals for life in society, which is very basic things, which fulfills our basic societal needs, right? Function of education. Let's see about functions of educations. There are first function. There are many functions, but we are highlighting here some important functions only. That is transmission of culture. Education. Since this our webinar is only focused about education, so we see about educational function of uh, social function of education, right? The first function is transmission of culture. How education transmits culture. Let's see, schools are medium for passing a culture, traditions, beliefs, and language. Constant textbooks. Each students about teaches about festivals like Diwali, Eid, or Christmas, and many more. Our country is also known as festivals country. There are many countries. There are many festivals. Provided historical narratives that shape national identity. These festivals and we read about these festivals in our textbook also. And these history are these about which we read in our textbook. is provide a historical narrative that shape the national identity, right? For example, teaching local art from such as mural painting in Kerala or folk dance like Kathakali helps children appreciate their cultural heritage. When we teach a local art form, any particular region, any particular subcontinent, we also teaches about their cultural heritage, right? So this is the role first function of transmission of culture. This is first function of education, that is transmission of culture, right? Second is socialization. Socialization is the process through which individuals uh, individuals learn norms and values. Uh, when when socialization actually starts from birth also, and we start learning the norms and values from birth and behavior expected by society, and what which behavior are expected from society we also learn. And schools reinforce discipline, cooperation, and punctuality and responsibility. Okay. For example, a classroom activity where students work in groups and helps them learn teamwork and communication skills. When we assign any task in group in our classroom, students actively engage in that and they learn and how to help, how to teamwork, about leadership, about communication skills. This is the part of socialization, right? And creating national identity, that is third function of education, that is creating national identity. Education links individuals to their country's history, traditions, and goals. And through subjects like civics and history, students learn about constitution, rights, and responsibility, right? Through textbooks, students learn about their history and traditions, goals, subjects. And for example, learning about Mahatma Gandhi's role in the freedom movement fosters a sense of patriotism, right? So this is the way by which students create their national identity, right? So education play a very important role creating national identity. And next is selection and allocation. Education selects individuals for roles in society based on their performance and merit. How education how education do selection and allocation. See, education select individuals for roles in society based on their performance and merit. We are schools are have schools have schools and colleges are having examination, and how we can examine by a single exam by a same question paper to all children. If the children are very different background, they come from different background, they are having different abilities, then how can we evaluate their abilities and their achievement by a single question paper which is same for all students? So this creates pathways for professional careers, but also highlight disparities based on the access and privilege, right? For example, entrance exams determine eligibility for engineering and medical courses, which is influences from career paths, right? How so this way education play the role of selection and allocation, right? Uh, I hope it will clear. If any question you can drop in chat box. I will try to answer them until in the last session. Okay. Uh, Next is promoting social change. How education promotes social change? Schools are not only transmit existing values, right? Schools are also challenge outdated practices. These practices are outdated, they also challenge the school, right? They become platform for educating equality and environmental conservation and health awareness. For example, schools organizes awareness programs and awareness rallies and different occasions like. So education, this way education promotes social change also. Awareness programs and sanitation and hygiene in school and can reduce health issues and in rural areas. So this way, education is not only for in uh, classroom settings and textbook settings. It's beyond, right? It's beyond that. Uh, so this way, education promote social change. Next is uh, theoretical perspectives on education. Let's see about some theoretical perspectives. First is functionalist perspectives. Uh, Before going to functionalist perspectives, we uh, we should first see what is functionalism. Actually, there are different schools in sociology which gives their thoughts and ideas. Uh, uh, Functionalism, we highlighting in our presentation about functionalism, concept theory, and symbolic interactionism, which is very important for educational scenario. Let's see about functionalist perspective. Functionalism is a perspective in sociology that views society as a system made up for different parts like family, school, religion, as we previously discussed about that when we discussed about Talcott Parsons. Talcott Parsons also functionalist thinkers. So they suggest that society is like a biological organ, biological system actually, which we discussed about earlier. So let's see about first thinkers, that is Emile Durkheim. His views on Durkheim believed that education is essential for maintaining social solidarity. What is social solidarity? Anyone can answer? What is social solidarity? Any? I hope many students are from sociological backgrounds. If you should answer these questions which arises between webinar. What is social solidarity? Anyone?
It is the
Okay,
unity.
let's see. Yeah,
It is the
yes,
unity within
Ashmiya.
a society.
It's become.
Solidarity is the unity within a society.
Yeah,
Is the
exactly,
right?
exactly. Yes, yes, please.
I hope it is the question you asked.
Yes, yes, yes. This is question.
Okay.
And you highlighting correctly. This is the unity of society also. So, social solidarity is the types of unity which we forms in which humans forms in society by their language, by their cultural commonalities. Think about if you are in a train, like traveling in train, and someone if speak to communicate with you in your own language, in your mother tongue, you connect with them. Like, and if there are many people from your cultural background, and then you can connect them, or and you make an solidarity and feeling of we, and you generate a feeling of we, like, right? So this is social solidarity, and Durkheim believes that education is essential for he argues that schools teach moral values, discipline, and collective consciousness that help integrate individuals into society. Right? Education means to cultivate social harmony, and school ensure that each individuals internalize norms and societal expectations. We where we learn which behavior are acceptable and where are not able. We learn it from school, in family and in society, in school also, right? Or a national anthem is not just right. It reinforces a sense of sorry, sir. This is due to some internet connectivity issue. It will interrupt between. Am I
Okay.
audible now?
Audible, sir, audible.
Okay, let's see again. Share my PPT.
Okay.
Sir, is it visible?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Thank you for confirming. Uh, we are talking about Durkheim. Na? Let's see example. A classroom pledge and a national anthem we're talking about is not just a ritual, right? It reinforces a sense of belonging and to the nation and shared values, right? So this way, Imal Durkheim proposed their ideas about education. Uh, let's see about Talcott Parsons' views. Parsons extended Durkheim's ideas and emphasized that education functions as a bridge, right? As a bridge between family and society. This is the Talcott Parsons view. He saw school meritocratic institutions where individuals are judged based on the performance rather than family background, right? And education sought individuals for different occupational roles, right? We often ask students in our classrooms, what will you be after completing, what you want to be after completing your education, right? Like for example, doctor, engineer. We often put there are only two options, and we ignore about third options and many more options, right? Uh, so education sought individuals according to their performance and their occupational roles. Right? Students learn in universalistic standards and rather than particularistic standards. Now, what is universalistic standards and what is particularistic standards? And the universalist standards are rules that apply to all, right? And the particularistic standards and that's the rules based on their familiar caste, right? For example, in diverse classroom, students from a different backgrounds are evaluated using the same exams rather than being judged by with their family backgrounds, right? We for this reason, functionalist views also criticize that functionalists are sometimes criticized for ignoring inequalities and assuming that all students have equal opportunities, right? Because every students are not have same privilege or same background or same cultural identity. They are very diverse Indian classrooms, right? So particularly Indian, I mention here because in India is very rich, diverse country. So this is the critique that functionalists ignore about their uh, level of equality and opportunities. They treated as the same to all students. They treated that every students have the same opportunities, right? And so this is the functionalist perspectives. Let's see about conflict perspectives. Uh, Conflict theory is a sociological perspective that views society as a being in a state or constant competition and struggles, right? So, very prominent conflict perspective. Actually, Karl Marx are proposed this. Karl Marx are key thinker of the conflict theory. Marx believed that education reflects the structure of power in society, right? According to him, school serve the interest of the dominant class by perpetuating existing inequalities. So we see this in our further presentation, in further discussion, how education promotes social inequalities also, right? Education prepare worker for capitalist economics. So when we when we talk about someone, what you want to be after completing your education, and actually we interested to know that he answer about some very specific like a very well reputed uh, personality, well reputed job or well reputed services like IAS, PCS, or doctor, engineers, right? No one talking about there are many different types of is job scopes and very different types of options available, but no one talking about. Actually, we are expecting also, teachers are also expecting often. We are not, I'm not criticizing teachers. Actually, we talking about exact what is what is exactly happen in our Indian classrooms, right? For example, the focus on corporate success stories rather than labor movement in textbook can make students unaware of workers' struggles, right? Often is school if textbooks have only capitalist success theory and stories and ignore about workers struggles and labor class struggles, then what students inculcate from their stories, from their textbooks? They inculcate that only a capitalistic view, right? So this way education promote education play can play and an important role for making the sense of students by their textbooks and by their classroom examples also, what the teachers uh, put the examples, particular personalities, which particular uh, 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 particular anythings, right? Like a festivals, like a marriage system or social system or any social functions, what particular teachers take examples from there, right? Similarly, next thinkers that are they are Bowles and Ginets, right? Herbert, the full name is Herbert Ginets. See, in their books, Schooling in Capitalist America, Bowles and Ginets argued that schools reinforce economic and inequalities by teaching obedience, punctuality, and discipline, which serve the needs of industry also, rather than empowering students of democratic participation, right? We schools serving obedience, teaching in their teaching obedience, punctuality, and disciplines, and these
But
things are all common in. Yes, please. Okay. These things which we talking about obedience, punctuality, and discipline, these things are also common in the industry. Also, we the owner of industry also wants these behaviors from their workers. So what actually, so this is the view of Samuel Bowles and Herbert Ginnis. They emphasizes that okay, education reinforce economic inequalities and by teaching obedience and punctualities at all. So there are hidden curriculum also, right? Hidden curriculums which which confirms by teachers of teaching. So hidden curriculum, I hope you all read about hidden curriculum in your B.Ed or M.Ed or any uh, curri- educational courses. So hidden curriculum are not written forms in curriculum. They are they play a role or in examples between in classroom activities and outside the classroom activities which gives, and then in assignment also which teachers give to students, right? Education reproduces class structure also. For example, students are trained to follow strict schedules, right, similar to factory routines, and preparing them for low skill jobs, and rather than encouraging creativity or critical thinking. So this way their critiques also comes about conflict theory. Critics says that conflict theory helps highlighting inequality, but sometimes overlooks how individuals resist and challenges oppressive structures. Right? See about symbolic interactionism. Symbolic interactionism focus on small and everyday interaction between people, where functionalists and where functionalist perspectives, they look like a social as a whole structure, but as a holistic way, society is in a holistic way. But the symbolic interactionism says about the things and focuses on a small everyday interactions between peoples, right? It explains how people create a meaning and through symbols like words, gesture, actions, and everything which we see in our society. Like we if we go through our if we go through a road and we see the traffic signals, we know there are different types of colors of traffic signals, and signals are that that colors are also indicate and what uh, uh, which behavior are expected to us. The color indicates which behavior we want to do, we should to do, right? So these are symbolic interactions. There are many types of symbols like words, gesture, and actions. So key thinkers are of symbolic interactionism are George Herbert Mead and in Irving Goffman, right? So comes come to the George Herbert Mead's views. Um, sorry, George Herbert Mead views. Mead emphasized that learning happens through interactions, right? Uh, He argued that a self-concept is developed based on the feedback from others. This is very important things which George Herbert Mead gives, that self-concept. First, we see about self-concept. What is self-concept? Anyone very famous quotes about I and me concept of George Herbert Mead. If anyone know uh, what is self-concept, okay. Let's see. George Herbert Mead self-concept first. Mead explained that our self develops through social interactions, right? And this self develops in have two forms. First is I, and second is me, right? I is spontaneous impulsive. I is the spontaneous impulsive part of the self, right? And me is the organized set of attitudes, right? And expectation learned from society. And actually I is the how 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 a particular perceive its perceive itself. And me is how society is looked at particular, and particular person thinks about that, how society in uh, making their personality, and how society think about them, right? So this is the self concept concept of self concept of George Herbert Mead, right? And through communication and role taking and understanding others perspectives, and individuals develop a sense of self and learn how they are perceived by others, right? And the self is not present at birth, but but emerges through social experiences. So teachers' expectations shape students' behavior, right? And peer interactions also influence in learning and motivation. If students are very curious about to knowing that how a teacher, how their favorite teacher actually, uh, how their favorite teacher actually want to what expect to us, right? And and the students want to behave and in their desired uh, behavior, right? Uh, so this way, Irving Goffman also uh, uh, states about some self 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 theories. Goffman introduced that idea of presentation of self, where George Herbert Mead emphasizes about self concept, uh, re- uh, and Goffman emphasizes about presentation of self. He says that students perform roles based on how they are perceived by teachers and peers. We, for examples, we teachers constant praise for a student's effort can encourage participation, right? And if teachers discourage students, and it also problematic for students, right? It's maybe a cause of their exclusion. So we labeling is also example, like smart, weak, or lazy. These students are smart, these students are lazy, and these students are, and you are lazy, you are weak, and you are smart, right? So when we say someone that you are very smart guy and you work very hard, these things are in these things encourages their uh, abilities also, right? So, so this is the view of some symbolic interactionism thinkers, right? And critiques about symbolic interactionism says that this perspective focuses on micro interactions and it ignores macro levels, right? This is the critiques of symbolic interactionism. So let's move on the next slides. Role of sorry, social inequality in education. Social inequalities in education, how these things exist. Let's see. Although education is often viewed as a path of equality, right? Education is also viewed as a path of equality, but in practice, it reflects and sometimes depends social inequalities also. How? Let's see. Socioeconomic status. Major causes of inequalities. Socioeconomic status. Wealthier families afford better schools, books, and coaching, right? And giving their children in advantage. If a children have a privileged background, they can afford better schools, better books, and coaching also, and giving their children to very advantage, right? Private school offer extracurricular activities and access to technology that government school may lacks, right? So socioeconomic status play a very important role in maintaining social inequality, right? So next is caste and ethnicity also. This also maintains social inequality. How? Let's see. Students from marginalized group may face discrimination, lack of representation in curriculum, and fewer role of models. Right? Uh, in textbooks, in textbook, fewer role model from of the marginalized communities, and representation of in classroom of marginalized communities students. It also play to maintain in social inequality, right? For example, Dalit students may face prejudices and from peers or for teachers in certain regions, right? So this is the caste and ethnicity how play to maintain play the role to maintain social inequality, right? So let's see gender and disparity. Gender and disparity in some communities girls are discouraged from pursuing education after puberty due to cultural beliefs in some communities, right? For example, early marriages practices limit educational attainment among rural girls, right? So gender disparity also play to maintain social inequality in education, right? And rural-urban divide. Rural-urban divide also, let's see infrastructure gaps between rural and urban areas create unequal learning environment. There are many lacks of infrastructure in between rural and urban area, and this is the very good things for urban areas. And this actually, this this divide is the cause of social inequality. The rural and urban facilities, right? And if, for example, the rural school may lack science labs, whereas urban students have access to digital learning tools. Where let's see, where a rural school may lack the science lab, but whereas the urban students have access to a digital learning tools, right? So what will be the effect? Students from disadvantaged backgrounds may experience higher dropout rate. Dropout rate are higher from rural areas than urban areas, right? Education education reinforce privileged, making it and difficult for marginalized students to complete, right? So let's see some di discussion about how can teachers actively create an inclusive learning environment that address these inequalities. What's are the role of teachers actually? So in this scenario where curriculum design is almost in the hand of government, actually very prominent thinker in sociology named Althusser, he suggests that he emphasizes that uh, states have two type of operators. First is ideological state apparatus, and this thing is not mentioned in my presentation. This I I remembered in during presentation, so I said um, states have two things of apparatus, right? First is ISA and second is RSA. ISA means ideological state apparatus, and RSA is repressive state apparatus. Ideological state apparatus, for example, like schools, colleges, and some religious places like church and mandir, masjids, and so on. Uh, and uh, and RSA, talking about repressive state apparatus, these are which used forces like police, law, uh, uh, and very and police law and which things are used by states for using forces, right? So two things: ideological state apparatus and repressive state apparatus. But very important, ideological state apparatus play a very big role to define ideology and of state, right? uh, Actually state wants uh, to people to their people to that they inculcate their ideology by textbooks, by curriculum, by by teaching. So actually, schools and colleges are only place where we find in a collective form of young minds and on daily basis. No other places in the world where we find these uh, uh, where in a collective form of young minds, right? So schools and universities, colleges, the place where ideology can saved by state, right? So what will the role of teacher in that scenario where curriculum and everything is all are if in hand of state? So the very important to know to about the role of teachers here, that teachers are not just a transmitter of knowledge but also a facilitators to change. Teachers not have only a textbook in their hands to transmit knowledge. They have their own ideas, their own um, their own knowledge to transmit in classroom also. So teachers can give examples, can suggest some further readings outside the curriculum, and teachers can allot assignments to the students for to outside for textbook. These all things in the hand of teachers, right? And teachers can and see teachers can model respect of and fairness, right? So. Teachers can are central to how education shapes society. They are not just transmitter, right? And models fairness, respect, and empathy. Teachers identify students' individual needs and adopt teaching methods accordingly, right? And the very important things is here for teachers to promote critical thinking, right? Critical thinking is the ability to differentiate between what's wrong and what is right. Okay, and this ability is this ability developed by reading some rational readings, some rational examples, and this way the role of a teachers become very important, right? uh, and teachers also can support disadvantaged students, and this is also a role of important role of a teacher, and offer guidance to students from different backgrounds. And for example, a teacher who forms peer monitoring groups, right, and allows students to support each other. Students can make form a group of students where they can they allotted they can allot the different role of peers in a particular group, and can allot their different roles, and who is the observe whom, right? And support each other and build leadership among students. So this also can form maybe form of peer learning and group learning or group tasks, like. So this way students can engage to each other and evaluate to each other also, right? So this way the ability of evaluating, the ability of critical thinking also will be developed of students, right? So uh, so let's see about education and social mobility. So social mobility is mobility in terms means movement, right? So social mobility is a movement of social class, one class to another class, right? When someone moves from backward class to privileged class. So it may be example of forward mobilities or upward mobilities, and some if someone moves from class D to class A, class B, this is the example of forward mobility. And if someone moves backward side, it may be a downward mobility, right? So, education is often seen as a ladder through which individuals can improve their lives, and it equips students with skills and knowledge required for better jobs and higher income. However, access to education is uneven. Social mobility depends on whether students from disadvantaged groups can access educational opportunities, right? So, social mobility, it's how it depends on the opportunities of students, what opportunities they get um, from their education system, or their societal social opportunities, right? For example, a government scholarship and free midday meals and school transport services are designed to support disadvantaged students, and helping them stay in school and pursue higher education. So these are some opportunities where provided by government or provided by a particular or again school systems or education system, uh, uh, for which students can uh, adopt them and mobilize to themselves, right? Mobilize to themselves and utilize and mobilize themselves. So, what challenges? Challenges even with access. There are, this is the right thing that access are available. But students from underprivileged background may lack role models or supportive home environments. Where underprivileged backgrounds, students are they miss the opportunity due to lack of awareness, because they not have any digital tools like for to access awareness, digital tools or many things uh, to access, to know about what are the opportunities for them. They're unaware about that and opportunities which are formed for them. So this way, education play a important role in social mobility and education for social change. Let's see, education is not only about adjusting to existing norms, right? But also about transforming them. It helps individuals question harmful practices and adopt progressive solutions. So, what the key areas of change include? Promoting gender equality and spreading environmental awareness. So, education can do these things, promoting gender equality and spreading environment. As we say about when we discuss about Althusser, and we say that we discuss about that education systems and schools, colleges, and universities are that place where very young minds are collective forms. So we can promote gender equality, and we spread environmental awareness, and encourage democratic participation, and make teaching empathy and social responsibility also, right? And is, for example, the school campaigns against substance abuse. So these are the example of social change which can be by education, right? So in conclusion, uh, so today we explore how education function and as a powerful social institution, right? And we discussed how it transmit culture and socialize individuals and promotes both uh, unity and inequality also. Okay. And through various sociological theories, and we saw how education is shaped by shapes society. Actually, education is shaped by society, and education helps in shaping society also, right? So as teachers, you play a critical role in shaping students' experiences and contributing to social change, right? So a lot of things in your hand also. So, being aware of social context of education and will help you create more equitable and empowering learning environments, right? So, I hope you will I hope to participants you will think about how will you handle classroom diversity, and how can education support students from disadvantaged background. At least these things you can think, and how can teachers encourage social responsibility, right? So these are the references. So thank you for listening me, and this is all about from myself. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you, sir. Ramesh, sir, please.
അമിത് സർ കേൾക്കുന്നില്ലേ?
Okay, Anna.
Good evening, everyone. It is my privilege and honor to deliver the vote of thanks for today's enlightening webinar on understanding the role of education in society, a sociological perspective. First, I extend our heartfelt gratitude to our esteemed resource person, Mr. Atul Maurya, research scholar from the Department of Educational Studies, Jamia Millia Islamia University, New Delhi. Sir, your insightful perspective and in-depth analysis of the intricate relationship between education and society have given us all much to think about. Your deep insight and scholarly perspective on the sociological dimension of education have not only enriched our understanding but also sparked meaningful reflection among all participants. I would like to give special thanks to Sav for taking the time out of his academic schedule to be with us today. Then, a heartfelt thank you to our principal, Mr. Dr. Sunit Kumar Jian, for his constant encouragement and support in organizing such academic initiative that broaden our intellectual horizon.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I extend our deepest gratitude our esteemed speakers, Dr. M.S. Geeta Ma'am, Chairman Council for Teacher Education Foundation, Kerala Chapter, and Professor Dr. Rajeshwari K. Ma'am, President Association of International Research of Indian Origin. Thank you for both sharing your time with us today. Then I would also like to thank to our program convener, Freni Maria Joseph, Assistant Professor in General Education, ma'am, whose dedication and meticulous planning made this webinar a smooth and successful event. And to all teachers and students, a special thank you for your active involvement. Your presence added great value to the session. Let us carry forward the knowledge gained today and strive to apply it meaningfully in our academic and social lives. Once again, thank you all.
Thank you all, organizers, and thank you, Sunil sir, for inviting me this very wonderful platform. We are very engaging. Actually, I have a query. I have uh, that students are asking very less or not questions. So this is, but I appreciate their participation, and they. And thank you to all, and thank you, Sunil sir, and thank you all our major teams. And sir, I will share the PPT with you, and you can share with your students
Okay, sir.
also.
Okay, thanks, sir. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
It is very insightful, sir. This lecture is very insightful. We learned many new things about education and how education can transform our lives and others. So this is very beautiful, sir. Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Sir, may I leave? Or, oh,
Okay, sir.
okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay.